Konbanwa. Hello, hello, hello. How we doing? Good morning. Early gang, early gang. Ryunhwa Mizori, first time. Happy Ukes, Willie, Jeff, Vivek KP with the Prime sub. Thank you. Thank you. Voxwell, welcome, welcome. Hello, everyone. It's been... Well, it's not been that long. It's only been a week, but it feels like it's been a lot longer. I hope we're all doing well. Using the emotes. Glad. There is some new news. Maybe some of you saw in the Discord, but I've added... We have these chips, and you can now, if you save them up, you can use them for redeeming on... I'm not sure what they're called. Channel points. They're channel points, but you can redeem them for alerts. I have an earphone in here, so we're not getting double audio. Hopefully I can, just to see if they're going to work. If I do go off the camera, you can ping them. There's one for getting me on camera. There's one for increasing the zoom. You guys can have fun with that. Please don't spam them too much.
Kento Chigai.
Kento Chigai. That actually came up in Dave's thing the other day. I'd already been planning on using this because I thought it was perfect for sort of the registration of the camera. They're a bit loud, but they work. Hang on a second then. Before we start, because that is going to be a bit much, I can come over here They're a bit loud. Text and speech, visuals and sounds. Give me 1 second. Volume down. It's at 50%. It shouldn't be that loud. Maybe I can redeem one and see. Ah, okay. Bit loud for the bass line. Okay, I can turn it down to 30%. I guess I have to change each of them individually, which is a bit of a pain. Save. Give me 2 seconds. What a way to start a stream. Is my baseline audio okay? Just give me a thumbs up. Save. There we go. Look at that. Efficient like a proper streamer. It's almost like I know what I'm doing. Buddy sounds good. It's okay. Low side for Twitch, I think. I can pull in this and I can turn that up. Hopefully we're not getting any static too much on the backside. Audio is the hardest thing for streams, yeah. Because I can't actually hear. I could put my own stream on, actually. I don't know what level my earphones are at. Anyway, we've got some things to do today. Everyone's settling in. Can we bet how long before you are sick of being ordered about by the chat noises? Yeah. I can override them at any point if it gets too much. Audio video sync is off for you. It seems good on my end. Hello? Okay. Hello, Octo. Maybe it was just for a split second there. Thank you. Wow, already in with the technical stuff. Today I have some oolong mango and it's delicious. Little off, but it's not irritating. That irritates me. I don't think there's much I can do about it here. It's okay, thank you. Hello, Nerdhat. No worries. Cool. Let's get to it. A couple things to talk about. It's been a week since I last spoke to you. We will get some bonsai carving a little bit later. I didn't change the name of the stream, the little description on the screen there. We will be doing mostly bonsai carving. But for right now, I actually have a new project I have to start, which is going to come up soon. And this project is for my Patreons. And I've been wanting to do some Sen Shafida. Sen Shafida are the strips about this size that you'll see plastered all over the roofs on temples. You're not allowed to do it anymore. They don't let you do it anymore. But in the olden days, it used to be a real thing. Sen is 1,000 Shafida. I should have checked. But I think it's like 1,000 prayers or something like that. Or 1,000 blessings. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those, I think. But don't quote me. That's what they translate to. So they were good luck and for good fortune you plaster them all over temple roofs. Anyway, there was a big tradition of making prints out of these. And originally they started off as kind of simple, just black with some big kanji on them. And then later on they became a lot more complex and multiples were joined together to create fuller images. I will be doing 2 because it's a bit of a waste to just carve one and it's extra time printing. It's not much extra time printing for doubling up the design. So let me show you what I'm going to be doing. One of them is a secret and then one of them I can show you. So let's move over to here. I can position the camera. Sorry, I have a new camera as well. which is fun. And I now have it on a dummy battery, so we won't run out of battery. Hopefully it won't overheat. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Oh, thank you. Voxel's in with the Japanese. Yeah. Sen Shafda. Thank you. Here is an image of the design, one of the two designs I'll be doing. I've already shown my Patreon, so it's okay to show you guys here. The second design won't be on show just yet. So I'm going to try and paste it down without you guys seeing it. But I can show you through how I register the paper. I saved this work to do on stream, so I could show you guys how I do it. It's a little bit different from what you may have seen. And it's a little different from the traditional way as well. I've got a couple different methods how I do it. Anyway, this is one of the designs. So this will go on here, and there's another one. Actually, this one will be further away from the registration. This will just be a single block, so it'll only be on the key block, and then all the other blocks I will do marks here and marks here, so I can get two colours on one block. This one will need redressing. I think it got sanded before, and it's still got some clay and stuff on it, or some wood residue. This is a piece of boxwood that I was very generously given by Dave. I asked him if I could have some. I needed some really hard stuff for this. This one is kind of a standard design. It's a little bit delicate, but it's not that bad. But the other image is extremely delicate, and I needed something really, really hard. And I don't have any boxwood, so I asked Dave, and this is from the same set of blocks that the whole Hokusai series was made from. So this is one of the Hokusai blocks. Now, we've actually had a really big problem with them. A lot of them have started to split or are showing signs of like the potential for splitting. And I found two that were pretty nice and looked like the potential was low for splitting. Boxwood is extremely hard. The planks are cut thin. You can see this is the normal cherry on the bottom, and then this is the boxwood on top, and you can see it's a lot thinner. That helps it split less than if they were full size. The thicker the piece of cherry and the wider and bigger it is, the more pressure you get inside and the more it wants to split. So I got to treat this block really carefully, but it should be okay. Now I need a couple things to get started. Already I'm talking too much, and we can just get into it. Will I start putting my own blocks together, or will I end up buying already made? Yeah, I have. I'm helping Dave at the moment. He's gluing them up, but I'm helping him choose and source wood. We're going to be going to buy some wood. So in that sense, I am actually involved in the process of making the blocks. I don't want to be. For me, ideally, I would just do carving. That's the part I want to do. That's the part I trained for. But I think inevitably a lot of the things I'm going to have my hand in the future. But I really would prefer not to. So I will use Matsumura, wood like Matsumura as much as I can. Do we get to see the Kento tool you had made? Yes, yes, yes. You're not perhaps the guy who made them, are you? Ben City? Bizin City? So these are a couple of tools I had made for it. Okay. It's a bit tricky with names. There's a lot of people's names I know, like Instagram names or real names. And then there's different names on Twitch, so I'm not sure about everyone's name. These are two compasses I had made. I can't remember the Instagram of the guy I got to help it. He makes his own prints as well, but he has a CNC, was it CNC or like a water jet metal cutter? and then he shaped them up. Anyway, I was really struggling for a long time to find some of these tools. They're just small compasses, just 2 metal points and a nut so you can tighten them. And we use these, Asuka Sensei uses them to mark up the distance. And sometimes I still use them, and other times I use a ruler, which makes things very, very quick. Things are out of place. So what you do with this tool to mark up the registration is just place it here, decide on the distance you want, measure it up, maybe give that a little tighten with your nail, and then you place one edge, maybe I can zoom in, you place one edge on the side there, just right at the tip of the surface, and the other one you just place down and place a mark where you want it. You place another one over here, another one over here, so you got 3 marks there, and then you'd move across. Maybe I can lower the ISO on this, it seems a bit high. Is that better? No, wow, that's the wrong way. I really shouldn't fiddle with this on stream, should I? Gomen, gomen, gomen. Let's put this on standard. Gomen, 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 gomen. Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Tic-tac box is also useful. I don't personally like that because I can't. You can't change the placement very easy, and inevitably what happens when you have a little corner thing like that, like Dave has, which is measured to always put the same distance. If you want to move everything around, what you end up doing if you're lazy, or because it's not convenient, is you end up just winging it and stabbing it in, and you get dirty looking kento. And so you'd make 2 marks here, you'd connect all the lines, and I'll show you how we do the connection part after. But yeah, I prefer a system where you can more easily move things around. What is going on? Sorry about the technical difficulties. I really shouldn't have touched that ISO setting. It's struggling to focus on the block because there's nothing there. We'll get some paper there soon and everything will be okay. How I like to do it now, I have this ruler that has just a square set on the bottom. And I've already decided on the distance. I checked the block, there's a couple of knots and stuff here. And I want to place my paper down so that the design is sort of avoiding some of these knots like this. Knots or bad spots in the wood. So I've already found a position that works, and that is exactly 1 centimeter here. So this rule is really handy because I can just draw straight lines on the block like that. This distance, that should be 0.9. And you never want to take the corner here as a square, because these are cut by humans, and often this will not be a true square. So I always draw a line here at the bottom and draw it up and then mark it from the top, so I can come back with my ruler in a little bit to make sure that I have a perfect corner in the bottom here. If you have a corner that's not completely square, you sometimes have issues where paper starts getting damaged by repeated usage in a corner. And when that happens, if your corner's not true, the next bit of paper will start to... Funny things can happen with the corners. Exactly, use a square to... That's exactly what this is. I found this... I don't know where I found it, but I found it a long time, and I wish I had the link to you because it's fantastic. It's a ruler with a square, but it just works really well. I need the registration about here. About there. So we'll go for 13.5 and 15, about a centimetre and a half. The reason I put it 10. The reason I put it at an easy number there is so that for my following colour blocks, I can measure this. This is 10. I can go 13 and a half, 1.5 every time, because I want all the registration to be the same across all blocks. So that's that bit. I'm done with the square. Next I get my solid ruler. I just connect those lines. And this is actually the first test I get on this block of wood now. I should have also gone a little bit further, so I know where to stop. Typically, any work with a ruler should be done with a keibiki. Keibiki is a left-handed knife. All carvers in the old days were right-handed, or they trained with their right hand. So a left-handed knife is used to cut against a ruler. It's the same with cutting paper or anything. You never want to try and push down too hard when cutting something if you want a straight line. You always want multiple light passes are better than a really firm first pass and cut all the way through. The important thing when doing this is to always keep the blade at the same angle. So lock your wrist in and draw like that. Good old times where you were left-handed, doesn't matter, use your right hand. Yeah. Kevin Francis made my compasses, thank you. Thank you for finding that. Yeah, that was it. I apologise to him. It's kind of rude of me to forget his name like that. Like I've told you before, I think, I'm not very good with names. No Kento Nomi? No, absolutely not. Never Kento Nomi. I don't even own one. So usually I do 3 light passes and then 3 firmer passes. And that gives me more than enough room. Yeah, that gives me more than enough leeway when clearing it out. The last thing I'll do is I'll just check. I'll get my knife exactly straight. Just in the corners here, I'll just connect those. Make sure I'm straight. Just in the corner, connect those. It's a little piece. Then I'll take the corners out. And then I'll do 2 diagonal cuts across this. You've got to be really careful with this actually. You don't want to rip your knife out too quickly. You could chip a blade doing this. So at the end, loosen off pressure. So I like to do a couple passes on that as well. The camera's really struggling with focus today. I wonder what I did. Is this your carving knife? No worries about microabrasions from the steel rullet. This is a good point. Another reason we use the keibiki, the left-handed carver's knife, is because you do get damage from the rulers. So you shouldn't really use your carving knife. I have 3 carver's knives. Maybe I should turn off autofocus. Yeah. That seems like it might be an absolute disaster right now, though. Let me finish this little explanation. I'll have a little break and we'll try that, turning the autofocus off after. I think once we paste something down, it'll have something to focus on. Sorry, a couple questions here. Microabrasions. Yeah, so the left-handed knife is exclusively for cutting registration and for using rulers. So we keep that for that. If it gets damaged by the ruler, that's fine. That's another reason why we always use KVK. This is just a standard wide, I think it's like 6 mils. No, more than that, surely. What is it? It's a centimetre. It's a centimetre. This would be the closest thing to a Kento no Mi I have. And I sharpen it at a really quite sharp angle. I've talked in the past about taking the corners off just slightly rounded, but this is the only tool I don't do that with. This is also the first look I get at the wood, and it seems kind of hard, which I'm happy about. As this is the key block as well, I will never be adjusting these registration, so I want to get it really nice and clean now. There's a touch there. So I always pay a little extra attention to make sure that this is done really nice. You don't ever clear off the side of a block here. Going with the grain, you push off the end, and that's good. But going off the side with the grain running this way, you never clear your knife out this way. So I come in from the outside on these, just to get the outside bit done. And then I clear from the side. If I was to push this straight through the end there, it would most likely blow out and it could rip and it could take the back side of the hikitsuke off. So what Vivi was asking there about the Kento no Mi. Kento no Mi is a large flat chisel. I didn't cut quite deep enough there. Is a large flat chisel. It's not too dissimilar to this. It's a bit wider. And it's just got a round solid end on it, like this. Wow, I've really messed with the settings for the autofocus, haven't I? I think I put it on slow because I didn't want it to pick up small movements from my hand. So I put the autofocus on slow, which means it's taking a long time to realise and readjust. I should have just left it as it was. We'll fix it for next one. New camera. And you shouldn't really be using a hammer on the top of any tool that doesn't have a metal ring. Some of my other Marinomis don't have a metal ring, but it's okay. But in general, that's a rule, unless they're small. So the reason I don't use it, and it's something that Business City just brought up there, is partly because the grain's a bit weird on this one. It's partly because of the compression of the wood. But another aspect is how straight it is. I can be much more precise with my knife. And more importantly than both of those is the angle. Because I use a large ruler, and I cut with my knife, these are always guaranteed to be on the same level. Because I don't move my ruler from the time I place it down here to here. I cut this one, then I cut this one. The ruler hasn't moved. I know these lines are perfectly parallel. There is a risk that deformation in the side of the wood here, it's not a big thing. This is really minor points here, but if this is not cut straight and you use a thing to push in here and a thing to push in here, then these can be slightly off. And the paper will lie as it lays. But I want everything to be as neat and clean as possible, especially on the key blocks. And even for color blocks, actually, that's really important, because if you have an issue with the registration and you want to fix it, you then, let's say you take a ruler or you use a kentonomi, you're then changing the angle again. The kentonomi is actually quite a rough tool. You just sort of eyeball it and put it in. It's not a precision tool. When we're making blocks, we want wood not to be compressed. We want them perfectly all in the same latitude or longitude, latitude. And we want them perfectly square. I can get all of those things much more precisely by doing it with a hangito and a ruler than I can with just banging in a kentonomi. I hope that answers a bunch of your questions, because I know it's a bit different from how other people do. Okay. And now something else I do different is the glue. This is Yamato Nori, and it's basically out. I pasted 8 different color sheets today, and I used up all the glue. I've ordered some new glue, but it hasn't come yet because I ordered it today. So we're going to have to scrape the bottom of this. The good thing is with key blocks, I use a little bit more wood glue than I usually do. Wow, this is so annoying. Before we do that, actually, will you bear with me just 1 second as I try and do this autofocus. I'm hanging my camera from the ceiling, and so the camera's upside down, so I have to read the screen upside down. IQ, autofocus, manual focus, here we go. Focus mode, autofocus mode. Autofocus custom settings, there we go. Let's just set everything to 0. Back. Manual focus. We'll focus in here. Look at the stream. Oh, you're okay there then. Sorry about that. I think we're okay. Okay. Right, pasting. I said I didn't want these to be too like lessonish. That's not a word. I wanted them to be more free and open, but just by default I go back to like talking about technical stuff and sending positive thoughts. Thank you. So usually when I'm doing color blocks, I'll use a ratio of like 60-40. And when I'm using key blocks, I'll like bump that up to 70-30. That would be, the bigger number would be the Yamato Nori. So this is the same glue that kids use in school. Yamato Nori. This is the pot you want to look for, not the tube ones. Some of them can be a little bit different. There are a lot of the tube ones that have the same glue inside, but there's also stuff called Fueki Nori, and there's a low attack one, so be careful. This particular Yamato Nori is the best bet for you, if you can get your hands on it where you live in the world. So I don't wet the block first, no. There's lots and lots. It's really not a very sticky glue. I can leave this on and it won't dry for a long time. So the moisture in this is what's protecting the glue. I always put the glue on top, but there's so much moisture in that glue. I actually use my hand now. I put my palm, I'm just using this portion here, and I have to sort of warm the glue up a little bit. I feel the friction, it warms up a little bit, and that makes the glue more tacky. It's starch glue made from tapioca. Did you try and eat it? No, but my little emoji character did. So once I feel it's warming up, I start to spread it out across the block. And I make sure it's getting to all the areas equally. The wood glue actually dries quite quickly comparatively, especially when it's spread thin like this. I don't have the quick drying glue, but it does tend to dry out a little bit quicker. Once I've got a nice even spread, I usually scrape off excess there and put that in tissue. I don't want that. Got a nice even spread, and then I make little peaks. Again, this is also activating the Yamato Nori, which makes it stickier, as by doing this more moisture is released. And I'm also creating little peaks so that I can, if I do make a mistake, I can peel it off and try again. I haven't completely smothered the whole piece in glue, and it helps me give a visual check of how even, and if I've got too much. If I've got too much glue, I'll see that I've got big peaks. I want really small little delicate peaks. And then without showing to camera, I get this one which has two designs on, and I am very careful with the registration. Ooh, shifted. It really doesn't matter so much at this point, the registration for me. With the colour blocks, you've got to be more careful with putting too much glue, or it's shifting around too much. The shifting around is not a big deal. The scary one is shrinking and swelling. Did I throw that in the bin? I just wipe some of the excess off. I'm just going to wash my hands. Give me 2 seconds. I can practice my be right back screen. 2 seconds. What happened? Screen disappeared. Thank you. Thank you for counting slowly. So usually what I'd do is I'd wait 5 minutes. I'd wait 5 minutes to rub the back with a Baron. Because that gives the glue a little bit of time to dry, and then is it really? It gives the glue a little bit of time to dry, so we won't get any growth when I'm going to rub the back. But I'm going to go a little bit faster today because it's a key block and I don't really care if it swells. I'm going to start up here, zigzag down, zigzag down, zigzag down, zigzag down. Using quite a lot of pressure. And then I'm going to flip it. Registration's here, Kento, Kagi, and do the same. And you'll see the paper is sticking to the side of the glue here. It's just peeling off a little bit. When it starts to do that, you don't want to do much more. When you can just peel it off in little bits like that, don't go any further. You don't want to rub it. You don't need to rub it so much. Anyway, that's done. That was way too much of a lecture than I intended. Maybe we'll see this block again. Again, just for anybody who's new, I can show you the design again. This is the image we just pasted down. There's 2 of them, but there's a second print on the other side, which I don't actually want to show you yet. Maybe some people in chat will be receiving this print. This will go to my top tier patrons. I send out a main print at the end of the year, at the start of January. And then I send out a second bonus print. Sometimes I got a lot of creative freedom with this, and it's been really fun doing designs and stuff. This design, actually, I can talk about it. Where is it? The single print. Ah, yeah. This is a design I made. So I've been meaning to design Senshi After for a while. This one says Icho Hanga. So that's the Japanese. Icho is Ginko in Japanese. Icho Hanga. I made it by I got a basic font just to get the balance of the characters right, because I'm not very good at reading or writing characters so much. So the balance when you're doing calligraphy is really quite tricky. So I got a font to get the balance, just a simple square font, and then I drew this, and I did it in a style called Higemoji. You can't exactly see very well, but there are little tails coming off the end of these characters, and they're just supposed to be like little beards coming off the end of characters. Hige is Japanese for beard, so Higemoji. Okay, enough of that. My camera is dangerously hot. I forgot it. I was setting up just before dinner, and then I closed OBS, but I forgot to turn the camera off. So I think actually we might lose the camera here, which would be an absolute nightmare, and I don't need that tonight. Nice brushstrokes, thank you. Madoc, welcome. Hello, hello. First time chatter. Hopefully the camera survives to the end of the stream. If not, it might just be a face stream. Let's move on. I will leave this now for like an hour, but I'll leave it until tomorrow evening when I'll start on the carving work. Yeah, shouldn't take me too long. This side, like I mentioned, is just a single colour, the one you just saw. The other side, I think, has like 7 colours into it, and it's all pretty small, and they've all got to line up in little lines the width of hairs, or less than hairs. It's kind of delicate work. I won't be doing any of this side on stream, but you might see me carving this Senshafter. Bye bye Senshafter. Back to good old bonsai print. The unfinished print. Registered trademark. Good evening. Hello, Inca. Oh, hello, Aquilto as well. So I think that was technical enough. We don't need to do a tech corner at the hour. How long have we been going? 46 minutes. Time absolutely flies on this stream. Let's go with this one. Let's see if I can use these.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
Was that echoing for everyone, or was that just echoing for me? When I tested everything, everything was working fine. Where am I carving? There was a really big echo for that for me. Come on, shaky camera, shake. There were 3 zooms. Matt, it says zoom, zoom, zoom. But it sounded like there was 3 people saying zoom 3 times. Which one was it? 3 zooms or? It said it 3 times. That's no clearer. That's no clearer. There were 3 zooms. No real echo. Echo, echo, echo. You're messing with me here. For me, it sounded like 3 Ginkonats saying zoom 3 times. Anyway, let's get carving. I've done nothing. You already know that. This camera is gonna turn off. I don't know what to do about that. I butchered your name, yeah. It's not Inca, it's Inaka. Inaka Life. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the sub. Thank you so much. Gome. Inaka Life. 申し訳ない. That'll be clipped now. Am I actually on camera? No. Let's just move the block. I'll just move my body to get in position. Koko. Hi. Is that zoomed enough? Do we need to get closer? It's not very clear, is it? Is that better? Back to regular scheduled programming. I have to say, it's absolutely roasting. This last week, the temperature has just like spiked. I didn't show this yet. Oh, not this one. This is the image we're making. If there's a bunch of new faces here, we're making this bonsai print. This is the key lines, the black lines in this image. This is the picture, and this is the original bonsai I'm reproducing. I'm making a print of one of ACN Bjorn's trees. This is a very famous tree of his, Rocky Mountain Juniper. So that's the image, just so everyone's on the same page. It kind of doesn't make any sense when it's zoomed in this close. We're in amongst the branches, and we're doing some really thin lines here. Up to 29 today. Boxel, do you live in Japan? I'm okay with chat messing with me, please. I like banter. I don't get enough of it, actually. I'm worried about pronouncing people's names now. Midna, hello. I'm sure I said that wrong. Welcome, welcome. I'm quite curious of like the people that are watching, if there are any that found me on the browse feature or who don't know who I am outside of this stream. Because I don't think I've introduced myself once yet. If there are any of you out there who have no idea what's going on or who I am or why we're cutting this wood, like put ones in chat. I'm kind of curious. You don't have to join in, you don't have to participate. Lurkers are welcome. I am curious though.
I'm Ginnuts. And you?
Who was that? Inca. So yeah, he got a name finally. You just heard his name there. His name is Ginatsu. He's a ginkgo nut. In Japanese, they're called ginnan. So because I started doing all the commands in katakana English, I thought ginnats would work very well. Actually, I think Ayano came up with ginnats. Split the difference. if you've got any other ideas for alerts that aren't speech ones, I actually made all those alerts from at 6 o'clock today. Lost for words. Hello. So it's a wonder they're actually working. I watched a YouTube video. Well, I followed it along like a recipe, so I should be tech savvy enough to follow a YouTube video on how to do it. News. So it's been a week. I went to Mokuhankan a couple times. A couple weeks ago, I went there to select some wood. I told you guys about that. And then last Thursday, we took some wood down to Kiba to get it sliced. And that went well. We didn't have to wait around for it. We just dropped the stuff off and then came straight back. Rented a car, put all the wood in. It was only like a 30-minute drive down there. So we went down, dropped it off, and then last week, maybe on the weekend. On the weekend, the wood just got sent back by courier. And I went to Mokuhankan yesterday. I picked up the block and I went to unpack all the wood that come back. So it got sent back, it was all wrapped together. We took some big hefty pieces of wood and they all got sliced into like 6mm boards. And then they just got all wrapped up and sent back. But when you're storing the wood, it tends to, when you just leave them all wrapped up like that, they tend to start to warp. So what I did yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Today's Tuesday, yeah. So yesterday I went there and between all the slats, I took all the wood apart and I put little spaces in between. And that seems to help prevent the warping. You put the spaces in and then you ratchet it tight with some cable ties. Not cable ties. I don't know what those yellow cords are where you pull the strap through. I don't know the word for that. Anyway, tied them up with spaces. And the other reason I went there was because there was a smash on the roof of Mokuhankan. There is like a big open space where, not this year, but last year we had a big Hanami party, firework festival up there. Not Hanami. We watched the fireworks on the roof and had a barbecue and stuff. And there's also a little shed. Not ratchet straps, no, they're not the ones that you pull like that. They're just ones you pull by hand. They've got a little plastic buckle, 2 little prongs. You wrap the strap over it and you just pull it by hand and it self-tightens. A really common thing. I've never used their name though. Zip ties, no. I'm not an idiot. I know what a zip tie is. I can't read your name, but I know what a zip tie is. The upstairs above the sizing area, yeah. So up there's a little shed and some wood is stored up there. But it's got 2 sliding glass doors on it. And a bunch of years ago, one of the glass doors must have broke. And well, over the weekend it seemed the other glass door broke as well. It was a big old mess up there, and if it rained, the wood was going to get wet because now there's 2 doors that are uncovered. And so I went there to do a bit of DIY, cut some planks, me and Dave, and filled in the door, cleared up all the broken glass, and made some new doors. I should have got the picture in here. Maybe I can throw it in the Discord. If anyone's interested, I can throw it in there, and I can drop the link to that to I spelled it correctly. Yippee. To anyone who's interested. Where was I? Yeah, so that went nice and smoothly. What else? I also saw Ayumi-san. She was working on Kamakura, and it's looking really good. I'm excited. She was actually in the afternoon, unfortunately. In the morning she was doing a block I wasn't really interested in filming. But in the afternoon she was doing one of the passes on Barin Suji. Barin Suji is the score marks you get with the Baron. There's a little bit of that in this print. And so she was going to be doing that. It's proving really difficult to do the Baron Suji. It's a skill that the Mokankan staff, and even Dave, I guess, hasn't practiced so much. The general ethic for prints in Mokankan is very clean. But when you're working with Shinhanga, especially reproductions of Shinhanga, there's going to be lots of Baran Suji and Goma. Goma, no problem. Baran Suji is a little bit one of those skills that you need a little bit of muscle for it. It's tough. You need to really press that Baran down. And sort of troubleshooting that when you haven't done much of it, even though you know all the correct ways. You increase the water or you increase the paste. You know, all these things you can do. Doing it in practice rather than just knowledge is a little bit different. Acrylic is better than glass. We filled it up with wood. Yeah. It doesn't need to be hermetically sealed or anything. We took the old glass bits out, and where the glass used to slot, just put a bunch of boards that are thin enough to sort of bend and get in there. Filled it up with wood. So it won't be breaking anymore. Yeah, it would have been a good place to watch the festival. On that roof there. It's a little bit not great for seeing down. You kind of have to lean over the edge to see the street. So maybe if you were trying to watch stuff right in front of the shop, maybe not the best place. But a little further down, if you look down the street, it'd be really good to watch like that. I'm sorry, I didn't warn anyone about the ads coming in, did I? I think they've been and went. Comment. Hopefully that didn't mean that everyone left. The link is invalid/expired. The Discord link? Let me try it myself. Link is invalid, you're right. Oh no. I don't know. Am I going to have to refresh that command like once a month or something? I guess it's been a month since I set that up. I think you have to make it permanent. Okay. It's just another thing for me to look into. Yeah, we'll get there. It's proving to be like a bit of a technical difficulties, bumpy road, but it's not so bad. But little mistakes here and there. We make them so they don't happen again in the future. Where should I go? Maybe I'll do these little bits here because they're standalone. Let me just have a drink. Oh, no problem. You don't have to stay around. The VODs are always there. Thank you for showing up. Cheers, Ukes. Problem last stream was the person using it. I've lost my mouse. Hang on. Thank you for this. Yeah, I will try and make that link permanent later. I've not had a Discord very long, so. Cheers for showing up. Will I be using both sides of this block? Depends. I will check the wood. Typically, I don't use the back side of a key block. In the olden days, it was an impossibility. You never use the back side of a key block. Because you want that block to be really stable. The more wood you have, the more stable the block is. So you don't want to thin it down by clearing a bunch of wood on either side. With the plywood core, that's less of an issue. You can, in theory, carve on the back side of a key block. But the other issue you run into is that it's really easy to damage thin lines like this. And when you're clearing on the backside, no matter how careful you are, it can't be good for those lines, you know. So I really don't like carving on the back of the key block. I am the financier for this project though, and these blocks are very expensive. But I don't think I will. If there are some small areas, let's look at the picture quickly. There are some small areas like this little red dot in the bottom, the ASEAN logo. Something like that I have no qualms about putting on the back. What I'll do is I'll wrap this block up, put some newspaper on it, tape it down before I do my clearing. And while I'm doing my clearing, I'll just make sure that there's no wood chips on the mat underneath it. And that should keep it safe enough. Still, I don't enjoy it. Let's get rid of that. Good question. Everyday carry. I might just start reading people's names wrong on purpose. And then when I actually make a mistake, you guys will never know. That might be fun. No worries. Well, your questions give me something interesting to talk about, so I'm happy to answer questions. So there is going to be a video for the Kamakura print. I'm currently making it at the moment. You didn't make me self-conscious about the name. No. I've talked about it in previous streams. I don't I don't read whole names, you know. I move quickly and I try and scan, and I look at the first and last sort of 2 letters, and then in my brain, maybe it's like mild dyslexia or whatever. I think it's just laziness, like, and I've inbuilt just laziness, because like a lot of the time it just works for me. I just look at the first letters and I don't look at the whole sentence. I just guess what the next word's going to be. So I think mostly it's just laziness on my behalf and like just moving too quickly. But I am very prone. Like reading it works. It means I can read really quickly because I'm not looking at any of the words. But when it comes to names, especially like Twitch names, when everyone's is a little bit wild. The other thing that's not so fun about the heat is I'm getting sweaty. This room is so hot. I don't know why it gets so hot during the evening. Maybe it's just the lights have been on all day. But it's like as soon as I start these streams, it's just roasting. Okay, thank you, Vivid. Thanks for showing up. Take care. And the bad thing about getting hot and sticky while carving is that the knife is a little bit slick. Which is the reason then I went off the line a little bit. You saw me recarve something on this line here. It's okay. Go off. You just go back a little bit. Bye bye. We're actually getting to the end of this block, you know. It's not so much. Lights in the camera, yeah. My laptop's working overdrive. I have 2 plant bulbs up there. I got 3 bulbs in front of me. Camera. The mic isn't kicking out any heat. And also my desk and the underneath. It acts as like a. It acts as something that traps heat, like a box. And also it's being on stream as well. I've done a few streams now, but there's been just issues in every single stream that it hasn't felt fluid yet. I know when it comes and when everything just works, and if there's an issue, like I'll have fixed the issue several times, I know what to do, and I can fix it quickly. The streams are only going to get better, that's all I'll say. The awkwardness at the beginning will leave. What are the little triangles on the front of my knife? Are they from sharpening? Triangles? Are you talking about the very tip there? That little triangle? Notches, triangles? Or are you talking about the bevel? Ah, these! On the brass. Okay, yeah. Yeah, they're from sharpening. So I always got a big one there because I can demonstrate. When I sharpen the back of the blade. Cheers, Spiegel. See ya. Peace, peace, peace. When I sharpen the back of the blade, I put it down like this and I run my knife back and forward. And that's what creates that one. And then this one occasionally, if I'm getting quite a long, if I'm carving hair or something quite delicate, I'll drag this bevel back a little bit further. And to do that, I angle my knife a little bit lower when I'm sharpening. And sometimes I catch the edge there. Sometimes it's because the blade is a little bit shorter. I've filed a lot off and the blade's got shorter. And it'll catch the top there. Actually, if you're not so fussy about how your knife looks, which you shouldn't be, but you can use this on occasions too as a nice guide to keep you on the flat. Any other little notches will be where it used to be in a different position, like at the front here, and it got moved. You can actually tell how long I've been using a particular knife because of the wear of it. Jesus, the wood is really strange here. That was not a very smooth cut. That will probably need fixing in post. It's going to be a little angular. Where do I get my blades from? I get them from Asuka Sensei, and he gets them straight from the supplier. There aren't really any shops I know of that sell just the blades. I don't know if there's any. There may be some in I've never used the European site or the Jacksons or McLean's. I don't know if they sell. I'm guessing they don't, because I know William Francis was having an issue with that before. That he said he was buying a new knife every time he wanted a new blade at one point. Or I think maybe still is. So the unfortunate answer to that question is direct from the supplier. Time me on 1 hour 20. Yeah, I think that's probably the only way. To be honest, it's not that much more expensive. I'm not sure what knife goes for at Matsumoto now. But there's 2 levels of steel you can get from the supplier, and one of them costs about 4,000 yen for a replacement blade. But these ones, I got the higher quality steel, and they cost about 6,000 yen, which I think is the same price as a new knife. It's definitely in the ballpark. I keep all my spare blades. I have a little pouch here. I keep my spare blades in here. So I only have 2. I got to re-up. So 2 spare blades and 3 knives here. So I've got 6 blades on me at the moment. 3 of them sharpened and ready for use. For you lot that stayed around, we've not got so much longer at the end of the stream. Thank you. I can show you a little bit of the colour blocks for the subscription prints for Mokuankan, if any of you are interested. Looks like it's about 6,000, 7,000. So yeah, you're looking at around the same price I'm paying for blades anyway. If you have any prints to show, Voxel, please post them in the chat, in the Discord. I'm really curious to see your prints. And that goes for anyone. If anyone's making prints, I'd really love to see. One segment I was thinking about doing in the future is sort of looking at other people's blocks or prints and like sort of doing an on-stream troubleshooting, helping people improve their technique or improve their blocks. But also I like to see other people's prints, so if you have prints, please You can share them in chat or you can share them on the Discord, as you please. As long as you're not posting dodgy links, I'm happy for people to share their work. Sadly, I only make memes. Memes are valuable too. You're the person who makes the memes is the linchpin of any community online, are they not? So don't sell yourself short. I'm still here in the self-conscious stage. I enjoy carving, but I need to put more time into getting better at printing. Carving's the fun bit. Printing is the thing you have to really... Sometimes it feels like it can be, in the early days of learning, like just putting in your hours. Carving, I found, maybe it's different for different people. Carving for me was just infinitely fun. It didn't matter if it came out bad. The process of doing it and like seeing, oh, okay, I know, I can see clearly exactly where I'm lacking. I have a reference. And of course, the more you do it, the more you realise you're also developing your eyes and you can see more things. And so no matter how far you get into it, there's always more to learn, and it's always exciting because you always feel like maybe not attainable, maybe that's the wrong word. Because the more you carve, the more imperfections and more like sort of nuances you start to begin to understand in carving. The further you go along, it seems like the goalpost is always out of reach, but it's like always an attainable distance away. Maybe I haven't done enough printing, maybe it's the same for that. The problem with printing is that you need all the tools really make a big difference for printing. You can get going with carving with just a knife and a single ice ski if you wanted to, and you can clear the whole block with this little 0.5 millimeter ice ski. You could do that in theory and you could have a beautiful block. But for good printing, you need good paper, you need a good size on it, you need nice barons, you need to have moistened it properly. There's so many areas for it to go wrong, and there's so many things that if you buy the nice tool, like a good brush that's going to get it smooth, there's a lot of stuff up front for the old printing. We've got a minute or so left. If there are any questions, I'll do one more little section. If there are any questions, put them in now or forever hold your peace. Just as a counterpoint to what you said, printing is a one-shot thing with many variables. There is, but I think that carving is actually more of a one hit thing. You only get one chance to make that line. And printing, you can come back, you can moisten new paper, and you can start again. You can do it the same thing over and over again. And in fact, to become a good printer, that's probably what you should do. Take one block and print it until you can print it the way you want it to be printed, and then move on to a different block. If you're passionate enough and that's what you want to do, that's probably the way to go about it. Anyway, we are coming to the end and everyone's already ready to go to bed. I guess a lot of you are not actually the Europeans that this stream is meant for, just a bunch of Americans who are staying up late. Bye, Quilter. So you have all the equipment, just the experience then. Just keep doing it. You'll get it. Change one variable at a time. That would be my advice. Don't change too many things. Okay. We have reached the end. Thank you for those who subscribed. Really appreciate it. I'm going to have to put a message on my front landing page. Donations are welcome. Thank you very much. You don't have to. These are free for everyone. All you're going to do is have a few more emotes and skip the ads. For those who did sign up, thank you so much. I hope you all have a lovely rest of the week. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow is midweek, and that's half achievement. I will be back on Friday morning, where we will be doing some work on the Adolescente project. This is one of the blocks. I'm halfway through carving. I'm still not showing you the distant... I've got another one. Maybe I could show you a quick glimpse of the distant one. No, I'll save it. Anyway, I got 6 of these blocks. Hopefully I can finish most of them. I might be doing some clearing work on Friday on this. Thank you, Voxwell. Thank you, Wheelchair Willie, Maxime, Lost for Words, Everyday Carrie. You don't have to send bits. Thank you so much. You don't need to do that. I was just explaining you don't have to do that. Thank you. Riku, you are. Thank you. I will see you guys all very shortly. Time for bed. Good night, everyone. Peace. Over.